What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the DNC Nights 1 and 2 recap episode for Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here with the President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, tell me just right off the bat, what were your thoughts about the DNC Nights 1 and 2? Did you watch it?
No, I barely watched it. I guess I passed the channel. I probably only saw 3 hours and 52 minutes of I don't know how long they were airing, but I probably only saw I would say 3:55 at most.
They were a little over 4 hours, so I think you missed about 7 minutes.
Okay, so there was plenty that I didn't see. There was a tremendous amount that as you flip the channels and then all of a sudden you catch one or two speeches and you say failed leadership, losers, pathetic, and then you move on.
Now, it seems like you watched a good portion. Did any of the words that were said hurt your feelings or had any impact whatsoever?
Well, no, they can't hurt my feelings. Obviously, night one, you have Crazy Bernie and, the Kenyon's wife. So, what were they going to say that could hurt my feelings? I mean, I'm doing a tremendous job. The reason, as I said today during a great, strong press conference, the only reason I'm even in office is because of Barack Obama. Okay. When they saw what a terrible African-American job he did as president, a lot of people wanted change. They didn't like his change. They wanted Trump change.
Why did you have to
Trump
mention
change?
his race?
That rhymes with Trump change.
That could be some sort of slogan. I don't know. Get your people on it. But Mr. President, what do you think of Michelle Obama's speech? I thought it was a very powerful speech.
She's strong. I mean, she lifts weights, so it's going to be powerful. But I thought it was a weak speech. And by the way, I had sex with melatonin on her garden. That was one of the things we did. So, notice she didn't bring that up because we totally dominated.
Now, she did say that you were the wrong president for our country. She said that you have a lack of empathy. Do you agree with her about that?
It's as if she doesn't even know. She obviously doesn't listen to our great podcast because she would have heard tremendous empathy last week for Jeff Epstein, the 1-year anniversary of his passing. And this week, a lot of people, this is, by the way, in case people are catching up on this episode, they better not miss the regular weekly episode that we put up early yesterday. There's going to be episodes every night this week, and I hope they don't miss them. But on our great regular episode yesterday, you look from it, I don't know if it was you, but somebody that looked like you, I think, was doing the episode. I showed great sympathy for the death. Okay. There was a death in my family. And Rick Trump passed. And
Robert.
I'm sure Rick is often,
some people called him Rick.
Oh.
I'm asking you. His name is Robert. So I was asking you if some people called him Rick because you called him Rick.
Who's Robert?
Your brother. Well, he was your brother. He is technically still your brother, but he just is not.
All I know is we had a loss in the family, and I showed great empathy. So I don't know what she's talking about, empathy. I mourn Jeff Epstein every day. And I also was very, I golfed, but, I could have golfed better, but I was too busy being empathy for.
So you were empathetically golfing?
Well, I had probably powerful empathy for the loss of my cousin, Ron.
Your brother.
Well, the point is I show great empathy. So whatever she's talking about is totally false. It is what it is. By the way, she stole that line. Did you know? Remember when they gave Madagascar, my wife, so many problems over
yes. Stealing
the fact
Obama's
that she's not
speech.
steal. She's white. She didn't steal. The fact that she had similar great thoughts, I'd say even better
parallel
thoughts.
Thinking.
Oh,
was it parallel thinking?
Well, it was thoughts, and they were, it was a coincidence, I think is what some people might call it. And they accused my great wife of stealing. And nobody's accusing Michelle Obama. This is how crooked the media is. She says it is what it is. That's my line. I say it is what it is. And she was wrong, by the way. She was totally wrong. She said 150,000 dead. We're over 170,000 dead, okay? So she was totally wrong.
It's fake news.
Total self-own. They call it a self-own.
Mhm.
She was trying to talk trash and she had her numbers totally wrong.
What do you think of Bernie Sanders' speech? He had a nice background, I thought, with the wood behind him, made him think he was in a
Well, I
log
can tell you,
cabin.
big gay Mike Pence was, looking at the wood very strongly during the convention. But I thought it was weird. I guess Bernie was trying to, maybe he wants to give out free wood to everybody because, trees are part of the 0.1% of all forests. So I thought Bernie, finally, he'll be done. He's a loser. He couldn't even face me. Okay. He couldn't even face me. He never even got to the finals and he acts like he's the greatest thing ever. So I'm glad we're done with Bernie. And Michelle Obama stole from me with her speech. And I thought it was a weak speech with total lack of facts. So night one, I think they thought was going to be a lot stronger for them, but it was obviously, as you know, very weak.
What would you grade it out of 10? Night one.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give it a 2. And I'll tell you why it's not a 0.
Why?
2 words. Eva Latina.
It's the only reason why.
Well, that's a good. Let's be honest. I mean,
Okay.
she's no Salma Hayek, but she's close.
Now, for night 2 of the DNC,
The deuce, because it was a real crap.
did you happen to see the keynote?
Who was the keynote?
It was like a Broadway show. The keynote. There was a bunch of people speaking.
Was that the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, with all the losers, the diversity people just talking about, a bunch of nonsense.
Well, did you notice how some of the cameras, like people couldn't put their camera on a tripod? Did you notice some of it was shaky?
Well, they're very low. They're low IQ. The Democrats, they're low IQ. They're low tech. We love great tech, and they're very bad at tech, and they don't have wealth, and they don't have the talent. So it doesn't surprise me that they're putting on a horrible show, and they replaced. And tonight I knew it was going to be a bad night because they replaced Eva, the hot Latin chick. They replaced
Longoria?
the hot Latin
Eva
chick
Longoria?
with the Blackish, and I can say that because that's what they call. She's on the show called Blackish.
I don't know who you're talking about.
The host.
Yeah. Okay.
The host tonight. She's on Blackish.
Okay. The actress, yes.
She's Diana Ross's daughter. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Very overrated.
I wanted to ask you, did you see Bill Clinton speak tonight?
Bill Clinton used to be somebody with great charisma. Okay, I may not like his policies. I may think his wife is crooked. But he had great charisma. And that charisma is gone. He's low energy. I never thought I'd see the day that we'd have a low energy Bill. But he's a low energy Bill.
Were you surprised that he did not play the saxophone?
I think he realizes that no, I'm not surprised. I think he was doing that to impress the blacks. Okay. I'll say it. You know what? I'm finally going to speak my mind. I'm not going to be so, sometimes I'm a little too PC on this podcast. I think he was doing it to impress the blacks. And then once Obama got elected and he realized he couldn't be the favorite president of the African Americans, he said, I'm done with the saxophone.
So you think he ditched the saxophone once Obama was elected because he couldn't impress black people with his saxophone skills anymore?
I think that, well, you said it.
Okay. Now, who else? Did anyone else impress you tonight, or did anyone else stand out to you tonight?
Well,
Um,
Ocasio-Cortez looked very pretty. I know, I don't like her. I think she's a vicious, but she's got talent. I don't like the talent, but I recognize that there's strong talent. And what I don't like is they only filmed her from like the shoulders up. And what are you doing, DNC? You got the D's, and I can't see them. Okay, so you've got a star there. I may not like her, but you've got star talent. She puts the D in DNC. I can't see. That makes me ANGRY because I can't see the titties. That's called bars. That's called late night bars. I'm calling that one AOC titty in the city.
That was great, Mr. President. That was very impressive. You must have hung out with Kanye recently.
Well, as you know, I wouldn't, AOC, I think I look at AOC the way Darth Vader looked at Luke Skywalker. Except, as you know, I would never have feelings for a child of mine. But
Never.
I mean, there's always an exception. There's always, every rule has an exception. But no, what I would say is, if I could turn that talent, if we could take, can you imagine if she switched to the Republican Party and all of a sudden started wearing, Ivanka type tops and just strutting through, telling all the Democrats what failures they are? I mean, the talent, we would dominate if we had AOC. They're not using her properly.
Speaking of Ivanka, did you see the person? I don't know who the woman was from Tennessee. Did you happen to see that? She resembled Ivanka a little bit.
You mean if Ivanka never stopped eating IHOP and was stupid?
Okay, I guess so. If you want to.
How dare you? You know what? I haven't said this in a while. You're fired. We're getting a replacement for the rest of the DNC episodes because that woman was the Ivanka if you're, just some goober in a trailer, and that's the best you can do. That was no Ivanka.
Okay. Did you happen to see?
I couldn't even see her nips, and she was wearing, by the way, a white dress, and I still couldn't see the hard nipples. So how dare you suggest that she was anywhere near the Ivanka level?
My apologies.
Which, by the way, is a great level on our Patreon.
It is patreon.com/MPGA. Now, Mr. President, when Biden accepted the nomination,
You think AOC would date me at some point?
do you want to be honest with you, or you want me just to tell you what you want to hear?
Well, they're the same thing. So obviously,
I think she'll definitely be interested in you, depending how this election goes. If you have more free time and you don't win, and then you get rid of melatonin, I think there is a possibility.
Perfect.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great just to call her AOT?
Would be nice. But does that sound good to you?
We'll see.
Okay. AOT, we'll see. Biden put the mask on. He accepted the nomination. He had background mask people, and then him and his wife were there, and then they put the mask on, and there was that awkward moment. Did you have?
You see that with but you see that with the mask. It's all a big show. It's all a big, oh, look at us, we're wearing masks. It just makes the Democratic Party look so weak. We're not wearing any masks for the Republican convention. In fact,
you're not letting anyone wear a mask.
Every night of the convention, as you'll see next week, we'll start with a prayer and then spitting in each other's mouths. And obviously, I told you night two. See, I told on the regular episode, on our regular weekly episode yesterday, yes. I told everybody night two was such a weak night for the Democrats. Night two for us. Remember the patriotic Eiffel Tower with Ted Nugent, a young woman who's only legal in 4 states, We'll
That's
be
right.
conducting it on the border of one of those legal states, so it's barely legal. And James Woods, another one of our great statutory Americans.
That's right. It's for minorities. I remember this.
A night
very
for,
good.
you remember? Well, yeah, okay, so great. It's a night. It's called a night for minorities because we're going to be fighting for the rights of minors and their titties, in honor of, and the great mural of Jeff Epstein will hang in the background. It's. Think about that. Think about that as our night too, compared to what you saw tonight. Colonoscopy Powell, Easter Island John Kerry.
That's his name, Colonoscopy. I didn't know that was his nickname.
It's the full name. Colin is short. Colonoscopy Powell, John Kerry, who looks like, Stonehenge. And, they did it was and then, I'm surprised you haven't asked me yet about the John McCain and Sleepy Joe friendship video.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, and I was going to ask you about the love story video.
Like, what is this, a promo for Grindr? Big Game Mike Pence looks excited by the friendship video.
Was it convincing, the video between McCain and Biden? Was it convincing?
No, I'm sure they were friends because they're both sort of failed people.
And do you think Joe Biden is,
by the way,
tough?
No Meghan McCain? They could have put Meghan McCain in the video. No Meghan McCain.
They could have. They were also talking how tough Joe Biden is.
Democrats are anti-big breasts. That's what they stand for. They're not the. That's why I think we could get AOC out of the Democratic Party.
Now, if she became AOT, would she become AOT double D?
Well, with the right surgery.
Okay, just making sure. Now, Mr. President, I wanted to know what you thought of the Biden love story with his wife, the whole video of how they met and everything, and what do you think of that?
This is the one time, and I think the only time I'll give Sleepy Joe credit. His wife was fairly high quality.
She was hot.
And, she still runs. I mean, she's expiration date. I don't care. She's 69, which I thought was funny.
It is funny.
But I will give Sleepy Joe credit. He was, he was balding at like 26 years old, and he still landed Jill Biden or whatever, and who knows what her name was before.
Well, it took him 5 times to ask her to
because he's a loser. And I like that they showed that. Because she was good looking. He's sort of a, just a sleepy loser. And I give him credit, though. I give him credit. He got, because I have obviously had hotter wives, and I have a hotter daughter as well. But, melatonin's not perfect. I mean, she's an international model and, does pretty much anything as long as the checks, direct deposit on time. But you ever heard her speak? I mean, Jill Biden sounds like an American. It's got to be nice to have a pretty wife that sounds, like she didn't come off a shipping container in the harbor. So I give Sleepy Joe a little credit for his wife. And then she wants to open the schools. So she's obviously, sort of, a low IQ individual like Joe.
Well, what did you think about her final speech to end the whole DNC?
To be honest, I just rewound it to the beginning so I could see the pictures of her when she was young. So, and then when I fast forwarded, they were up to John Legend, and I said, well, time to go.
Well, that's it. You bailed on it. Well, Mr. President, thank you so much for doing this extra episode and for doing the future episodes with us this week. Also, on Saturday, we are doing a bonus episode for all Patreon. We're going to have a guest. Former President Obama is going to be joining us again to recap the DNC. So hopefully you guys can get along. He's meeting on Saturday, so that's patreon.com/MPGA. Any level will get that extra episode. And just a reminder again, on August 31st, Monday, 7:30, we're doing a live recording at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey, stressfactory.com for tickets. Mr. President, any parting words before we speak to everyone tomorrow night after night 3?
Slide into my DMs, AOC.
Well, we will speak. We will give everybody another recap tomorrow. And Mr. President, thank you so much once again, and have a great night.
I will. Don't tell me what kind of night to have.